681 Shadow, coach of your Connecticut Krookodiles, and we are here for our CPC Season 5 Week 1 match. And we are facing off against a good friend of ours, Aberforth, coach of the Newcastle Umbreons. And if you guys want to see my team in full, that will be in my draft. That's in my draft analysis, which will be in the playlist linked in the description down below with all my CPC Season 5 videos. But just to read off Abe's team real quick, he has Victini, Diggersby, Superior, Thunderous Therian, which is a Z-move user, Keldeo, Comfy, Steelix, Omastar, which is also his Z-move user, Noivern, and Mega Tyranitar. So he has a pretty threatening team. He has Diggersby, which is really frightening, as well as Victini, Superior, Thundy, Keldeo. He has a bunch of big threats, and Mega T-Tar can definitely be a very big threat. So we definitely have a tough opponent week 1, as to be expected with the skill level of CPC. But to start off with my team here, first off, we decided to bring Tapu Bulu. Tapu Bulu is it's very good offensively for his team. His coverage moves Stone Edge to hit things like Victini, Thundy, Noivern, all that stuff, and then we have Mega Horn, which will hit which can hit Mega Tyranitar. It can hit Superior. Mega Horn's overall solid as long as you can hit it, because you can miss Mega Horn and it'll really just suck. But then we also have Wood Hammer and Horn Leech. Now you might be wondering, why do I have 2 grass moves? Well, I have 2 grass moves on this because we don't always want to be spamming Wood Hammer, because he has things that can deal with Wood Hammer, such as Victini and maybe like a defense. Yeah, he has Victini mainly, and I'm sure Victini's going to be coming. If Victini doesn't come, that'd be crazy. But he can also have other defensive checks to that. In some of his other mons. So I also want to have Horn Leech, so that we could also get some HP back. So it kind of balances out. If Bulu is able to be preserved for long term, I could do Wood Hammer, and then if I'm a bit low, then I can Horn Leech some stuff and get some health back, which would be pretty nice. And so that's really the premise behind Bulu. It's choice Scarf because of Diggersby. The only way Diggersby outspeeds is if it's Scarf, but with Grassy, we have HP. I believe Diggersby does not kill us. It brings us really low, but it won't kill us. And we'll be able to hit him with like a Wood Hammer. So that could be good. That'll be good for Diggersby, because this is going to be a very offensive battle if he brings Diggersby, because he doesn't have too many great answers for Bulu, and I don't have any answers for Diggersby because there are no Diggersby switch-ins, honestly. But so that's why Bulu's scarfed, and we have some we have a bit of HP investment there. We were speed creeping. I don't exactly remember what we were speed creeping there with the scarf. Might have been adamant scarf Diggersby. That sounds like it makes sense. I honestly forgot what this is speed creeping, and also for the fact that I'm kind of strapped on time right now, so I'm not really going to look it up either. So next up, we have ourselves our Mega Gallade, and Mega Gallade is a really good mon. Definitely very solid. We're running pretty standard set, running Jolly, Max Attack, Max Speed, and we're running Close Combat, Rock Slide, Swords Dance, and Zen Headbutt. This thing could be really good, possibly for the late game, if we can get a good switch in, and then if we can get a good switch in, and then we can start, we can set up a Swords Dance and put some work in with this thing. So Close Combat is really good for the Mega T-Tar, because of the 4 times weakness to that. Even though T-Tar could still be pretty bulky, especially because it's Mega, but the fighting type Close Combat is really good for things like Diggersby if he's not scarfed, fighting coverage for Steelix, for Omastar, for Mega T-Tar, and then Rock Slide for Victini, Thundy, for Noivern, and then Zen Headbutt is really solid as well, because if he's not Scarf Keldeo, since I outspeed because I outspeed timid non-Scarf Keldeo, I would be able to knock him out with the Zen Headbutt too, which would be really good. So definitely very solid for Gallade. Gallade's looking really good, as Gallade does. But next up we have our Z Captain, who's not running a Z move this week. We have Zygarde 50, who is speed creeping. I believe we're speed creeping Max Speed Diggersby with this. I could be entirely wrong. Like I think we're being a Jolly Diggersby, and we have Adamant, Max Attack, and the rest in HP. But we are running Yachi Berry, so that if we face something that has an Ice type move, like for example maybe Victini Glaciate or something along those lines, we can or like Surf HP Ice, we can set up a Dragon Dance and put in a bunch of work. The only issue with this though is the fact that that Noivern does still outspeed us at +1. So we gotta hope that we can have another way of dealing with Noivern, or possibly even getting up a second Dragon Dance, which would be which I feel like could secure us the game. Except for that Comfy. The only thing Comfy is the only thing that's really bad for the Zygarde. So it's pretty standard though. E-Speed, 1,000 Arrows, Dragon Dance, Outrage. It's still pretty standard Zygarde, just standard DD, but it's very solid nonetheless. So next up, for our 4th model, we have Drapion. Drapion is running leftover Drapion, running defensive, max HP, and max attack, running max attack Adamant on this Drapion here. So it can put it forth a bunch of damage, especially to do with like Comfy and whatnot, with Poison Jab. And then we have Pursuit as well, which if we get a nice switch in, we can get a Pursuit off if he wants to try to switch out. And then also Toxic Spikes. Now, I didn't discuss this before, which I kind of should have, but I wanted to wait at the same time until I got to Drapion, Klefki, and Aurorus back here, because both of our teams don't have good hazard removal whatsoever. Like, he actually has none, because I don't think Noivern gets Defog, and my hazard removal is Torkoal and Mantine, and I brought neither of those. And we both have ways to put hazards on each other. I have Drapion, Klefki, and Aurorus here, which all have different hazards, and he has Omastar. So he could try to hazard stack me because my hazard removal isn't great, and I can stack him with hazards because he can't do anything about them. So Toxic Spikes would be really clutch here. But then also, overall, it's just a very good offensive mon too. And with the bulk, we should be doing good. So next up, we have Klefki. Klefki's a really fun set. We're running Prankster, Lagging Tail to possibly deal with one of his offensive threats, like maybe the Diggersby, Thundy, Victini, maybe even Keldeo. Not Mega T-Tar. Well, actually, Thundy only if he's not Z-move. So that can definitely be important for us. But definitely the Lagging Tail Prankster could really help us, because since Prankster automatically gives me top priority on my status moves, I can use Switcheroo first and give the Lagging Tail to my opponent, which can be really useful, especially for those really good sweepers. So then, otherwise, we have Spikes, which also have priority, seeing as Klefki is Prankster. We have Foul Play for those physical attackers like Diggersby and whatnot, if we're able to even live a hit from Diggersby, depending on like if grassy terrain can weaken Earthquake enough. But because we are specially defensive, we're not Fizz Def, because Fizz Def actually he has more. Klefki does have more Fizz Def. I'm actually not sure if I would be able to live an Earthquake from Diggersby or not. I feel like I would be able to do 2 in grassy terrain, but I never really did the calc for that. But then also we have Magnet Rise to deal with Earthquakers, so at the same time, I could predict him to switch in Diggersby if I have him on something that's not really that good against Klefki, and then I could just click Magnet Rise. And I can go Magnet Rise, Switcheroo. That could be a pretty good tactic for that. But then, our last mon, we have Aurorus here. And Aurorus, we're running especially defensive as well. And it's Focus Sash Aurorus with Light Screen, Haze, Hyper Voice, and Stealth Rocks. Rocks are going to be very important. I can do a ton of damage to his team with Rocks because he has Victini, which will take 25%. Thundy will take 25% from Rocks. Noivern will take up 25% from Rocks. That's very important. Also, if I can get up Spikes with Klefki and maybe even Toxic Spikes with Drapion, that can seriously put a bunch of dents in his team, which can be really good. But he'll also try to hazard attack me as well, which will be scary. He doesn't have T-Spikes, though. He just has Rocks and Spikes. So then we have Haze to deal with any stat changes. Light Screen can give us some more special defense on the team. So if I want to switch into something that's not as specially defensive as some of the other things on my team, like one of my offensive threats, I could do that. I can Light Screen beforehand so I can have a good switch in. Hyper Voice is just really to do damage. It's not really going to do too much damage. I don't have too much special attack on my Aurorus here. But that's really all for the team that I have here. So now we are going to go into the game. Let me go into the game right now. And here we go. We have we see the team he brought, no Diggersby, so this is not going to be a super conservative offensive match, because it was going to go on and off of us trying to preserve stuff and us trying to out offense each other with Diggersby and Bulu. So that's really good that there's no Diggersby there. But he does bring the T-Tar. He brings the Comfey, Victini, Noivern, Omastar, and Thundy. Now, so now I'm thinking, okay, I can get my rocks up because he has no way to remove them, and Aurorus doesn't seem too bad of a lead, even if he leads with Noivern. Well, we probably wouldn't leave with Noivern, but if he does, I can get my rocks for free. He probably can't do too much for me, and he'd probably be fearing an Ice type move. If he leads with Thundy, he gets hit with a Hyper Voice, and he doesn't want. I don't think he wants to lead with Victini either, because seeing as he may think that I have a rock type move, then he may not want to risk that. So I feel like he may want to. I feel like Aurorus is very solidly try to get up my rocks. So I do that, but there is a bit of an error in my calculation here because he does lead with the Omastar, and this is very important because of what I do after I get my rocks up here. What I should have done is lead with Bulu, not Aurorus, because I would have been able with Bulu. I would have been able to kill him with 2 Horn Leeches, and he would have not gotten hit, and he would have not gotten this many hazards up. So here I get my rocks up. I am faster than him, and he's gonna get spikes up, which is very important now. So we're gonna switch out now, go into Tapu Bulu, and I get the Grassy Surge up, and he's gonna go for his rocks, which is a good play on him. But now, because I have Bulu in at this point, he's gonna be able to get all of his layers. Well, actually, no, he's not gonna get all of his layers of spikes up. He's gonna get 1 up, and he has the weak armor to increase his speed. But at the same time here, I thought he'd be faster than me because he got the 2 times speed. But I'm like, oh wait, he's not running speed investment. I'm scarfed, so it's okay. So I can knock him out with a Horn Leech, and down he goes. And now he's gonna go into the Victini now. I'm gonna switch out, go into Aurorus here because my plan is to sack Aurorus and try to get the Lagging Tail on the Victini, seeing as that's my best option. And that's my best option here because he doesn't have Diggersby, and we don't know if the Thundy is a Z move variant yet. So it's definitely very important to try to get it on this Victini. And this Victini is very interesting. He has Flame Charge, which can also help us with Lagging Tail because those Flame Charges won't matter. So I want to really try to sack off Aurorus as quickly as possible. So I just he clicks Blue Flare, I click Haze. No point really hyper voicing to get any damage off. It's not going to do that much. So he's going to Flame Charge again. I'm going to click, what do I click here? I click Light Screen. Because I know I'm going to go down. I'm going to be able to bring the Lion Tail on this. So he's probably feeling good about him having ×2 speed. But I'm going to go and hit him with the Switcheroo. Because it's funny because I use Switcheroo because Cliffy doesn't get Trick for whatever reason. But now we have... Yeah, but now he has a Lagging Tail, so I'm going to move before him no matter what I do. So here I'm going to go for Spikes, get a layer of Spikes up, as he's going to just knock me out with Blue Flare. I probably should have calced Foul Play. I didn't really do as much calking as I should have in this game. But now I'm able to go into Tapu Bulu. I know he's going to move after me no matter what. So I can click Stone Edge, and he lives at Stone Edge, but because of the light screen there, Bulu is able to live on 3%, which is not very good considering that Bulu should really be a long-term Mon, but we do knock out the Victini. It would have sucked if we missed right there. But we are able to finish that off, and now this thing is in. I'm locked into Stone Edge, and I decided to keep this thing for a sack later. So we go into Zygarde now. He's going to set up a Dragon Dance, which is very important right now. Because this thing has sweeping potential right now. It definitely really does have sweeping potential against my team. So he goes for the Ice Punch. I have Yachi. I did count for Yachi, and I'm now able to set up a Dragon Dance, which is really good. And now I'm faster than him, and I believe it was about a roll to kill. It was about maybe like a mid roll to kill. With 1,000 arrows at this point, and there's no reason for not going for 1,000 to not go for 1,000 arrows because of the fact that I know he's gonna Ice Punch me again. So I go for 1,000 arrows, try to get the roll, and I don't get it. He lives at 10%. I think that may have even been a pretty low roll though on my end. So Zygarde goes down. We're not looking too good here. I go into Bulu, just sack it off because there's no real point in keeping it around, I don't think. But we go into Mega Gallade here, and I've lost hope at this point. I'm just like, he's gonna beat me 4-0 with this T-Tar, everything like that. But T-Tar actually doesn't kill with Ice Punch. He didn't go for Crunch for whatever reason, unless he didn't have Crunch. Or Crunch or a Rock move. I think a Stab move would have killed me either way. But now, at this point in the game, he's able to just clean up with Noivern, and I don't really see in the match what his Comfy or Thundy do, because neither of them came out on the field. So Drapions gonna be able to live one hit. I do get a Poison Jab off, seeing as that's probably my best option. But I do get the Poison, which doesn't really matter because I am going to die to another Dragon Pulse, and I'm not faster than this thing whatsoever. So definitely good game to Aberforth. We've always had good games in CPC, which has been pretty funny. We haven't ever had like a bad game because if you've seen my games with him in previous seasons, we've definitely had very solid games. But we take an L, we take a 3-0 loss, which is not too bad. It's only week 1. We're gonna be able to I hope we can pull it back in week 2. In week 2, we're facing off against the co-commissioner of the CPC. We're facing off against Fallop, coach of the Eindhoven Drapions. So that'll be interesting. I haven't faced him since CPC Season 3, so that should be really fun. So we're going to end off the battle here. Thank you all for watching. Remember to rate, comment, subscribe, and share. Go check out Abe's channel. Link will be in the description down below. And I will see you all next time.